Maybe movies.
We can't even remember what episode we're on anymore.
Anyone would think that we've been here for like forever.
And ever.
And ever. Ah! That was really fake, but that's because... He's back.
Indeed he is. Out of the boo box.
Buono estende.
Buenos dias.
So, we're going to be looking at this. We've come this far.
We have.
It's going to be too much time to turn back now. So before we do, hello and welcome back again to Maybe Movies with myself, Max.
And myself, Sam.
We are going to, again, leap straight into this quickly. This movie feels really bitty compared to Twilight, which is a bit strange, but it's also actually on point because, as you mentioned the other week, the way the film is shot, it feels like it's just pebbled ash that's been pushed together.
Indeed, yes, yeah.
In the nicest possible way. So, very quick shout out to a couple of new friends called Team Goodman, whose channel is on YouTube, obviously.
Of course. Yay.
Where else would it be? It's a wonderful couple. They're in Chicago.
Oh, yay. One of my favourite towns, even though I've never been.
And they do a lot of vlogs and stuff in their local areas, like nature walks and things like that. And
awesome.
I was watching one of theirs the other day, which was them showing off their homegrown tomatoes.
Oh.
Which was very nice.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yes. Thanks, guys, and thanks for checking out the channel. I will be back around to see how your tomatoes are soon. And that's not a threat. Although it kind of feels like it is now. Sorry. Right. And very quickly as well, a huge thank you to the lovely people from Homebrew Dice. It's a company in Herefordshire who, not surprisingly, homebrew dice.
And, of course.
They recently ran a competition on their Twitter account, which apparently a certain somebody has won the prize.
Oh. Consider me slightly jealous.
Yes, a completely new set of math rocks are coming my way.
Yay. New math rocks are always good.
Yes, do check out. Again, links will be in the description below. I fucking got it right.
At last.
Yes. To their website and to their Twitter account as well. So do give them a follow because they are a lovely group of people. That all out the way, we have some lovely, still with the Chilean at the moment, so we've got some lovely Chilean Malbec to drown out our sorrows.
Wow. I have beer. Beer is all I need.
So we are launching into Act 2 of UnderLight.
Yes.
I think we've got a couple of defined scenes that I picked out. And the first one is what I think we can include at the opening point of Act 2, which is where, in our version, it's Bella comes back to the house and there's the conversation over the intercom. Mm-hmm. And I thought, again, there's a lovely moment here for a bit of a Mexican standoff. Between Craven and Edward. You get the bitch comes up and she hits the thing and says, I want to speak to Edward, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. He comes through from having got Victor all set up with his transfusion.
Yeah.
And then you get the bit where Craven says, get out of the house, never come back. And he says, well, now that Victor's awake, we'll have to see what he has to say about it. And as he's walking away, just the having learned that Victor is now awake is enough to bring the things that Craven, all those memories about his connection with Lucien to the surface, and that's the moment when Edward realises.
Of course, because yes, this is his plan going all horribly wrong.
Yes, in the film itself, you don't see how he interprets people's thoughts. He just says, I can read people's thoughts.
Yes, exactly.
It would be a nice moment just for that kind of maybe fisheye kind of dream sequence where he sees the two of them sat in the car or something. As we said earlier, because he doesn't need to do the research that Celine does to find the connection between Craven and Lucien.
Yeah.
It's a kind of like a shotgun or a machine gun of images, possibly even including the bit where he cut his arm or things like that.
All those little details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's literally kind of, it makes Edward stop and turn and look at Craven, but neither of them can do anything. Edward can't do anything because, as you suggested before, he's essentially in a house full of enemies.
Yes.
He could try and go and tell Victor, but Victor's still very weak, and Craven may take the opportunity to try and take out Victor. Craven can't say anything because that would be to lose face in amongst all of his people. But because Edward turns and looks at him, Edward knows, and Craven knows that Edward knows, and neither of them can say anything.
Oh, yes, I like it. I like it. Yeah, I had to play that through in my head. I had to visualise the scene, but yeah, I do that tense exchange with nothing's happening. Yeah, I like it. It's nice Nice touch. Layers.
And I thought about this before, and I forgot to mention it last time. With a lot of the time when Bella and Edward are together, would he just, as he does in Twilight, pick her up and run? But no, they're in a city. There's too much chance of being seen. She would still drive.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Although, do we want to give him the shitty car that he's got in Twilight, or the nice car that Celine has?
Because we do this, I think, as a callback, we should have the shitty car.
The shitty car, but in the nice clean colour, in the nice black...
Yeah,
over gothic colours.
Of course, yeah.
He leaves, he gets in the car, picks up Bella, and they head towards the interrogation house, don't they?
That's right, yeah.
And while they're in the car, there's a bit of exposition between them.
Yes.
But I don't think that's really going to play out any differently.
Apart from the various details of their particular characters.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He'll be a bit more reticent because he's suddenly got all of this new information that he needs to factor in.
Yeah.
So, as you kind of said before, he can be a bit abusive, so he's probably kind of not really engaging with her because he's trying to process all of this.
Yeah, and all of the information that Michael's conveying is just extra wrinkles that makes the situation even more confusing. Yeah. Sorry, Bella.
I had to chuckle at this point, especially when they get to the interrogation thing and it starts to become more evident that she is going to turn into a werewolf. It's like, what? She's going to be like an exceptionally angry chihuahua.
Dude! Could have waited just a second longer. Let me finish that drink. Oh God, no! I can't get that picture out of my head.
Just give us a moment.
Yeah, sorry. Right. Yeah. Okay, that's going to be there forever. Yeah. Okay. So they hole up.
Yes, everything else that's going on around them goes on as normal.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to remember. Did Celine know? No, Celine had encountered Lucian at that point, hadn't she?
She had, yes.
So the story is still the same, and the conversation between Victor and Craven's going to be the same.
Yes.
It's just the nature of the accusation has changed because of the mind reading.
Exactly.
All right, okay, so that's going to go on rails.
The next bit that's really only pertinent that we need to kind of address is, again, this scene of... Again, it's another exposition scene when they're in the interrogation house, so we get Edward's story and we get Bella's story.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Obviously, Celine was turned because she was supposed to be a surrogate for the daughter that Victor killed.
Oh, of course.
What's the deal with Edward?
Oh, I kind of missed that. And then all of the other stuff, I'd completely forgot about that. That does change things, doesn't it? Well, no, can't we just swap it? No, we can't, because then Lucian becomes weird.
Lucian becomes Lucy.
Maybe that's something we should have addressed since the beginning.
You should have done, we didn't think about it. Although, I've got another way of doing it. Oh, yeah.
Go on then.
He's not a surrogate for the daughter that he killed. He's a surrogate for the son he hoped Craven would be.
Okay.
It's never said whether or not Craven is one of his children.
It does sort of imply that, vampires aren't fond of showing favouritism.
Except to their own, yeah.
Except to their own. So, I mean, it's never stated, but I kind of always assumed to some degree.
So, yeah, that could be it. Yeah, you thought Craven didn't pan out as you wanted it to.
So he's the replacement for Craven. And that would... that's brilliant, because that layers into all of the rivalry between Edward and Craven.
Yeah.
This is layers, baby, layers. This is going to be the biggest onion.
It is.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Which did also make me think as well, because this is the point where, or very close to this, where Bella will be starting to get visions.
Mm-hmm. Starting to.
But it suddenly occurred to me, if she's still got her ability of being... I know it's supposed to be of protecting stuff unreadable, would that give her any kind of immunity to the visions?
No, because it's in the bloodline. She's immune to the mind reading. She's not immune because that vision is. It's the sort of the things I was thinking about earlier on. It's implied because it's also to do with why Victor doesn't initially believe Celine / Edward.
Yeah,
is because the transference of memories through the blood transfusion was imperfect because he wasn't trained for it.
Of course.
So there's a really strong implication that there's a connection between memory and the blood.
And the blood. Okay, yeah. It was just because I thought if she's got such a closed mind, then would something like that still work? But no, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought, again, a possible moment of levity at this point, when they kiss and then she looks down and she's got the handcuffs on, but her wrists are so short or so thin, she just slips out of the handcuffs.
Yeah. Also, actually, it works because Edward can't read Bella. that secret is still hers to keep until she chooses to divulge it.
That's true. So again, I suppose again we adapt Edward's story to fitting in. His family was attacked and yada yada yada.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we found out about Bella's parents being killed in an accident and all this kind of stuff. And again, everything kind of...
The next sequence is Lucian preparing for his attack.
Yep.
Then we have Edward going back to Victor to make his case.
Which I think I've thought of a way around it. But when I first thought about it, I thought,
What? Yeah.
This could be a breakpoint.
Go on.
Because again, that fucking mind reading.
What, things that Victor might be thinking?
Things that Victor has done.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I must admit, that whole thing, I know we'll get into that later, but the whole thing, they just drop it in at the end, towards the end of Act 3. This whole thing about it was Victor that killed his family, or killed her family. I always felt that was really unnecessary. It's like a big reveal without any setup. And I always felt that it took away some of the agency from Celine's character. You find out that the guy who you consider to be a father for centuries is actually the person who killed your family, so naturally you're going to want revenge. That makes sense. But if her dilemma is choosing between the man she's falling in love with and the man who has been her protector for centuries, I think that's more of a bigger choice to make. There feels like there's more to lose in making that choice than just, you're the murderer of my family, I need revenge.
No, you see, I see it entirely the other way around, that she was struggling between the dynamics of her father and her lover, as it were.
Yeah.
If we break them down into their archetypes. And it's that revelation that tips the balance. It's not the sole cause, it is the straw. Not so much the straw, it's more like the tree that breaks the camel's back. But nonetheless, it's the tipping point, it's not the cause.
It's just like, it's the straw that broke the camel's back. But the dilemma is still there without it, and it's more
I have to fundamentally disagree. There's nothing lacking in a character arc about discovering that you've been manipulated and choosing to make a definitive choice about your life based on that understanding. That is character growth.
It is, but I think the moral greyness of it, they're both good people, and you simply have to choose which. That it feels more real life to me.
That's the thing. This isn't real life. This is fantasy. This is complete and utter fiction.
Oh, we haven't done for a while. This is a bit of a tangent alert.
It is a slight tangent. Yeah.
Sorry, let's get back to where we were. But I thought about it initially, and I was like, oh shit, have we broken it? Because he would know what Victor has done. But then there are ways around that we can explain around it. They always talk about Victor being the strongest of us, but they never actually specify or go into details of what he can do. With the age that he is, I think it's not unreasonable to say that he has the ability to at least suppress his thoughts. They do talk about the elders being the only ones who can organise their thoughts. So he must be able to keep that at a lower level where he can't read it.
Okay. All right. At the very end there, you made a point that I'm willing to concede on. Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Yes, he would be deliberately protecting his thoughts from that because he knows he's in a vulnerable state.
Mm-hmm. Do we add in an extra element to Victor here, even though you'll never show it? Do you think he's slightly afraid of Edward?
Well, of course he must be.
Because he can do things that no other vampire can. He can walk out in the day. He can do all of this, yeah.
If there's one thing vampires love, it's their secrets. He can rip his secrets straight from his mind if he doesn't control himself.
Yeah.
And in his particularly vulnerable state, having just woken up, that's particularly true. So he should be afraid of Edward. If Edward's ire is invoked, then he might not be able to defend himself fully. Gives us a lovely tense scene, and it's possible, even if we wanted to add an extra little wrinkle and some extra tension, that maybe Edward, of course, isn't going to be able to read his thoughts, but might become aware that he can't read his thoughts. Well, not that he can't read his thoughts, but that there's something wrong.
We've got a choice here, because that's one option.
You can imagine, if he's imagined this person being his surrogate father all this time, he hasn't questioned it, but now he's in a questioning state, and he's looking to his thoughts and noticing that there's something wrong. And so even though there's not that actual confrontation that we're worried about invoking, there's still a different kind of confrontation going on.
Which I was thinking that we could possibly slip into this. There's a moment in that interaction between Celine and Victor where he gets kind of lost in her thoughts and he can't order his own. Maybe at that moment there is just literally a flash of something from the night when he killed his family. Nothing that would incriminate him, but just the setting and the scene and the fact that it floats to the surface. Edward picks up on it and it's like, why is he thinking about that?
Yeah, that's my point, though, because then it creates that unspoken tension between them.
Yes.
Into the scene. So you've got multiple layers of conflict going on. You've got the verbal conflict and the...
That would work as the foreshadowing that I always think should have been there about that in the original film.
There you go, you solved that problem, you solved your gripe right
Oh, there. Nice.
Gold
nice,
star,
nice.
buddy.
No, you as well, man. We both figured that one out.
So that scene moves on. Lucian and the Elders runs on rails. Those guys have no involvement in it.
And you get Amelia's dispatch, don't you, as around about now?
And then Lucian and the others, or Lucian's goons, attack, they escape, and the police grab Bella.
Now, again, this is going to be different because Edward can catch that car.
Oh, okie dokie. You're right.
That's literally just occurred to me now while we're talking.
He can easily outpace that car, yes. Have we just found a breakpoint?
It's possible.
I'm trying to recall, how did the cops subdue Michael?
They throw him in the back of the car, drive away, and then once they're a distance away, he starts to turn and they inject him.
They inject him. All right, okay. Yes, but now we've got Edward there.
Yeah.
And suddenly that's not 2-on-1.
I mean, he has got a load of Lycans charging at him when this happens.
Oh, of course yes.
I know in that Celine takes them all out with the liquids with these silver nitrate rounds. We didn't really discuss that. I mean, does Edward have guns, or does he just rely on his strength?
He doesn't have any combat training.
Okay.
A weapon's actually incredibly useful for him. He can just point it at them, and especially when he's using such lethal rounds. It doesn't make him anywhere near Celine's level, but it makes him certainly more competent in this scenario.
I mean, you could almost see him, given enough time, developing something a bit like the gun cutter from
Equilibrium.
Yes, because he's got the speed. He can move into the right position. He needs to go bang, 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 bang. He can use his speed and incorporate that with his guns.
Yes, you're right. Ironically enough, in the same way that the vampires do when they play baseball.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh.
Yes, it's the possibilities there.
If we don't want to break it at this point, what I would suggest is that he's getting to play with new toys, so he wants to see what he can do.
And once you're a certain distance away, how has he got any reasonable method of...
Well, that's the thing. As soon as they've gone around that corner at the end of the street, he doesn't know which way they've gone.
Yeah, so the fight with the Lycans in the hallway lasts longer.
So that would be the only way around that. That's one of the things we haven't really kind of dropped into a huge amount with this is those kind of action sequences. We've kind of said, yeah, they're generic, they just happen.
Yeah.
But I think that would how that happen. We can use that as an opportunity to show him moving fast, dodging around them, getting in close and going bang, bang, bang. Ooh, he may get a read on the thoughts of the Doctor, so I want to keep him alive, I want to wing him. So he can take him back to Victor.
Ah, yes.
Because his thoughts, he knows about Craven as well, doesn't he?
That's right, yeah, he knows everything.
Which kind of rapidly brings us up towards the end of it.
Ish. We have the conversation with the Doctor about the line of Corvinus, and then eventually the reveal of Lucian's tale.
And we also get to see Danny McBride in the film. Because, when... I can't remember the guy's name, but he sends one of the guards to go and check the train after Amelia's been killed.
Yeah.
That's Danny McBride, the vampire who goes to the trains.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Didn't recognise him. Okay, I'll have to have another look.
That's Danny McBride who wrote this, not the other Danny McBride.
Okay.
The actor Danny McBride.
More of the second act than I had initially realised is running on rails here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of long laid plans unfolding. That's fine, because the next act is where it's all going to get horribly difficult.
It's like 2/3 action sequence, basically.
Yes. There are so many places for this to break.
Yes, there are.
But it looks like we made it all the way through Act 2. I am so surprised, folks. Colour me confused.
I'm waiting for Dulux to bring that now. Paint your walls in confused. Anyway, sorry, yes. Well, yes, I'm going to must admit I am just as much surprised. So please do come back and join us in a couple of days where it looks like we are going the distance with this one.
We're going to see if we can go the distance. Personally, I doubt it.
I have my reservations as well. Anyway, until then, hopefully the weather is better where you are than it is here. Actually, we don't get weather. Sorry, what am I saying?
I don't know. At this point, I just stop asking questions of things.
We get the abyss. Anyway, see you in a couple of days. Take care.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.